3, 2. You remember the days when buying a 55-inch big screen was a big deal? Well, check this out. This is a 98-inch TV by Samsung. And today, we're gonna be installing it on this wall. We're gonna show you how to mount it, how to set it up. We're gonna talk about all the features that make this TV such a great buy. Keep in mind, this is just one part of this whole home automation project. But right now, let's mount this TV. Let's get to work. All right, tools that are needed to mount a television. 1, you're gonna need a drill. 2, preferably to use a screwdriver. You can use the drill to bolt these in, but you run into the situation where sometimes you can over tighten it and bend them, and then you got a bigger headache. We're gonna need a measuring tape and a stud buddy or a stud finder. The first thing that you're going to do is every single mount that you will purchase is going to come with different size screws. All televisions use a different bolt pattern, so keep in mind that not all TVs are going to use the same bolt, the same screws. 2, what you're gonna do is you're actually gonna grab the arms and mount them into the television. Do keep in mind that not all arms are the same. A couple things to notice on this specific mount. These actual mounts actually are going to separate from the television, and these are post-leveling mounts by CAN 2. So some of the things to consider is they're actually gonna have a screw at the top of the television that is going to assist you to level the TV once it's up on the wall. Next, once your arms are actually mounted, you're going to determine where it needs to go on the wall. Before we take this over there and get any measurements here, we want to figure out where we're gonna put it on the wall. So the things that we have already marked down was the height selection of the television. You can measure from the top or you can measure from the bottom. Always put some kind of marking so you can step back and take a look at how it's gonna look on the wall. Because once it goes up, it's limited on the actual height that you can adjust. Then we're gonna determine the center of the television. From there is when we actually get to work. So we got a big measurement of the wall, we got center, we got bottom of the television. What do we do next? Now that you got your measurements, it's actually time to get back to the television. This is when you're going to grab your screws, you're going to grab your screwdriver. I recommend using a screwdriver and not a drill, especially if this is your first time mounting a television. We wanna make sure that you don't over tighten the screws in the back of the television. Once we have this bolted on, and this mount on, we can actually take our measurements. What we're going to do is we're going to go from the bottom of the television to this first screw right here. We are at 32 and a half inches from the bottom of the television to where this top bolt is going to go. So now we're gonna take this 32 and a half, come to the bottom of the TV, and we can actually mark where our screw is going to go. This is where you're going to bolt the TV. Now that you've marked where the screws are going to go or at the height, it's time to find the studs. This is when you get your stud finder. Couple things to know, just construction traits. Usually these plates are going to have a stud on the right or left of them. So with your stud finder, you can always come and find a nail. And in this scenario, there's no nails in this wall. Here we go, sorry, found it, boom. There's a stud right here. So there's going to be another one. Where is it? Boom, right there. So this is where our right stud is going to be. We're going to mark our stud, and now we're going to find another stud. Now do keep in mind, majority of stud banks are gonna run 16 inches apart. So there's supposed to be a stud somewhere over here. Boom, here we go. Right over here. So now that we have our height and our studs, it's time to mount the bracket on the back of the wall. Right, we're gonna let Julio use all the power tools. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna mount one of your screws on the right-hand side. You're gonna get your level. You know where your other stud is at. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna level it and bolt your next screw. All right, the bracket is up. The data cables have been relocated. Now we have to relocate power. In this scenario, I need you to go to YouTube and figure out how to do a power outlet. This is not electrical advice. I need you to do some research on YouTube on how to do a power outlet, or if you don't want to mess with the electrical, you can always do a power bridge. In this scenario, we're gonna knock out this power outlet and we'll be right back. Power has been added, so we're ready to power it. This TV is going to be receiving signal from a rack, so we do have a Balun, which is a converter, a CAT to HDMI converter. We are re-terminating the tips for the Ethernet line and the video line, and then we can get this bad boy up, and then we can test it. It is extremely, extremely heavy. I truly believe that nothing over a 65-inch TV should be picked up and mounted by itself. Like I say, I personally mounted up to a 75-inch by myself, but I don't recommend you doing it unless you really know what you're doing. In a couple minutes, this one is gonna go up. We're gonna show you how to mount it, plug it up, and then I'll give you all of the details about this amazing QLED 98-inch by Samsung. Take a look at this picture. Did you find Nemo? There he goes. This is the 98-inch QLED by Samsung. We finally got it up and mounted. All of the cable management in the back of the TV has been set up. Like usual, when you turn this TV on, it's gonna walk you through a bunch of settings. Today, I didn't want to walk you through all that. I wanted to highlight some of the features and the actual specifications of this TV. Wanted to show you how to mount it. A couple things to keep in mind is this is 120 hertz. Wow, look at this. Look at the picture quality. I always like to show actual nature videos because these are gonna be your true colors, your deep blacks, your oranges, your greens. The picture quality on this TV is amazing. A couple things to highlight on this television as I give you the specs is that one, it is HDR10+. It is a QLED. Whenever it comes to the backlight type, it is a full array local dimming. So it actually helps when you have rooms that are full of lighting to actually dim the TV up and down. As I mentioned, the refresh rate is 120 hertz. And one of the big enhancements on this is the motion technology, which is the motion accelerated plus. It does have your 4 standard HDMI inputs. It is going to have ARC for your audio return channel in case you need to display something on the television and send it back to an AVR or a soundbar. It is gonna have your inner Ethernet and your actual audio outputs. Outside of being a huge, huge display, they actually invested a lot into the technology and not just making it a large television. There is other manufacturers that have TVs this size, but when it comes to the picture quality, nothing is going to really compare to the size and picture of this Samsung. It is gonna have all of your standard streaming. This is actually streaming off of the YouTube from the television. But you do have Apple TV, you have streaming, screen sharing options from Control 4. There's only so many good things I can say about this TV, but really, I just want you to take a second and look at the picture quality of this television. I hope you got something out of today's video. We showed you how to mount a TV. We showed you all of the features of this amazing 98-inch television. We are a direct platinum Samsung TV. If you need a TV, we are here to help. If you have any questions in regards to installation and home automation, we got you covered. Like always, I appreciate you watching. If you got some time, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and don't forget to look, listen, and live with Empire AB.